Hello there fellow modelers and welcome to Genesis Models. Today we're going to be doing a rapid video build of the Supermarine Spitfire Mark 1 by Eduard 148 scale. Now this is the Provi Pack edition, so we do get some nice photo etch in here, and the kit is gorgeous as well. We have a lovely sublime recessed panel line and recessed rivet detail, as well as an amazing cockpit inside here. As you can see, we do have the photo etch, so that should spice up our cockpit as well. So to get started, you want some sort of sandwiching effect. So we have, like, you can have tiles, but you can buy that from RB Productions. We have Tamiya's diamond foiled, a number 9 blade, as well as some tweezers, some sort of flat nose tweezers. And when it comes to cutting off the fret, you want to be sandwiching the photo etch up, butting it up as you can see, and cutting it with the number 9 blade. Now when I say cutting, it's more of a rocking motion, not a soaring motion that you want to be doing when cutting off of the fret. You don't want to be making any bends, hence why our tweezers here are kind of a bit sort of flat on the end, so we can fold them off. And again, as you can see, we're sandwiching that photo etch while filing off. Now, getting out some super glue, I like to use just like a normal little pot just here. RB Productions do a lovely super glue applicator here. And what we're going to do is we're going to just glue in the bits of photo etch, and this isn't it's not a it's in an inconspicuous place, sorry, so we can glue that in with some super glue. You can also dip the pieces, little pieces, into the super glue, and that's just enough glue on there for something minute as that, just to glue it in place. And there we go, nicely glued in place, as you can see. Micro Crystal Clear is also a good glue when it comes to photo etch. You can just dab that little bit of a blob in the space, the contact points, and tiny little bits of photo etch like this you can place in. You're just going to want a cotton wool bud to just kind of clean up any sort of messy blobby bits that are out there, and you can glue things in with that. But Micro Crystal Clear is just take a bit of time to glue. Super glue is a bit more sort of quicker to glue. It kind of depends on what pieces you're putting down. There is a bit of folding going on, but it is kind of self-explanatory. But I do like to super glue in between those folds just to keep it all together. So there you go, nice bit of photo etch done there. As you can see, you don't really need all those fancy photo etch tools for something like this. Now, you might get a bit of glue on the end of these super glue applicators, but a lighter kind of burns it off and it's all good to go again. Now we're all nicely going to get hands-free and accessible for spraying now. So we can use things like drill bits, locking tweezers, cocktail sticks, blue tack, white tack on the back of the pieces as well, anything, so we're not touching what we're spraying. Now there's some homebrew thinners just here. We're going to whack this in our colour cup, and we're going to get out some surface primer by Vallejo. I believe that's the polyurethane one. Better 50-50 mix. You want your PSI around about maybe 18 PSI, and with all spraying you want to start off with a light misty coat. This is just to allow the paint to stick to the model. That should dry pretty quick, and then we can come along and do like normal light spray coats. Normal light spray coats is you start seeing some coverage going down. It looks a little bit wet, but nothing's pooling up, you're not overdoing it, and you're seeing some coverage, and about 2 coats of that should get you all nice and sprayed up. Now, when it comes to cleaning an airbrush, I do like the Mr. Tool Cleaner. It's a pretty good one for cleaning your airbrush. We can just pour that in there, pinch the end of the needle, and we just kind of gurgle it up and sort of let it sort of clean the internals. And I like to tip the airbrush out upside down and get all the gunk coming out of your colour cup end. Don't blow anything through just yet. Kind of repeat this process a couple of times, and then you can start blasting it through the needle end. Now the cockpit colour, we're going to be going for XF71 by Tamiya, a 50-50 mix with homebrew thinners and a good stir. And again, the spray process is, do the usual misty coat. As you can see, it's very sort of misty, you don't really see it, and then I put down the first light coat and you see that coverage and it's a little bit wet. and that's what you're after. Now we're going to gloss it in with GX112, really good, and I do recommend the leveling thinners by Mr. Colour, really goes well together. Good mix again, and we're going to spray on a gloss coat. We want gloss coats because we're going to do a little bit of deckling, a little bit of weathering, and you want that paint to be protected from any kind of chemicals, from deckling and weathering. Now with the deckling, I'm going to go straight in with Micro Sol, which might seem a bit strange, but with these little ones in the cockpit with all the little bumps and whatnot, straight in with the Sol. You know, we can maneuver it slightly with a sewing needle, and then whack some more Micro Sol on top, and just keep doing that until it conforms and is looking like it's basically kind of sprayed on. Now back with some super glue onto our photo-etched seat belts. Nice way of gluing these together. You've got to be careful, it's very fiddly, they are very small. There is a bit of a fold here, so I'll put a bit of super glue on there first, and then I'll fold it around and pinch it down so as we get that nice little buckle on there, nice little detail with that. Then we want to sort of start bending the photo etch, right, to kind of get the shape what we need. I like to kind of put sort of creases in there as well, so as it looks more like fabric rather than like some solid metal, you know, kind of give it a bit more flavour to our seatbelts. And I just kind of dip one end into some of that super glue and place it in position. Once you've got that first one down, you know, you can start sort of coming in with toothpicks or super glue applicators and kind of run it around the back, and then you sort of press it down. And that's a nice way of getting seatbelts in. Just take a bit of glue step by step with that. And there is our seatbelts in. Now with the weathering, we've got Ammo's panel line wash, black night and light grey. You know, make sure these have had a good shake and you get the sediment off the bottom, and you can pretty much just slap it all over our cockpit, and it should sort of flow into the recessed panel lines, recessed rivets. And once it's dried, and it needs to be dry, we can come in with a brush that's dry, no thinners on it, and just kind of brush at it, which will sort of blend in our washes. And if you kind of go in the direction of gravity, you can get some streaks on that as well. So really quick, easy way of doing a wash. The light grey is basically the same as the black we did. We're just kind of putting the light grey on black areas. If you put too much on, don't worry, just kind of put it on a kitchen paper towel, and then you can suck the rest up with the brush. Now we're going to whack on some matte UV varnish. This is to, you know, protect everything and take away that kind of gloss coat we put on and make it all nice and matte. 50-50 mix with this stuff. Give it a good stir and spray it on as we've been doing all our other spraying. You can spray also like the dials as well. Don't worry about your dials not being glossy because we've got some glass coat Gauzy agent. This stuff's really kind of got a good capillary reaction, so we can kind of just touch inside those dials and it should flow and touch all the sides. You can even do the targeting thing that you have there as well and get those bits glossy, which kind of sets off the cockpit nicely. So we can be gluing all that in together, as you can see, ready to be like going into our fuselage section. I've glued the one side into the fuselage, and as you can see, that's all looking good. Test fitting is very important. Make sure everything test fits right, because as you can see, we've got a gap here, right? But if I just open it back up and just give it a good sanding, some ejector pin marks in there, coarse sanding stick, you can close up gaps so much more easy if you kind of just do some test fitting first. We're going to peg it down before we glue it, just making sure there's no steps on those join lines. And once you've got enough pegs down, we can then use Tamurex thin cement. I recommend the quick setting one for stuff like this. And as you can see, we just let that capillary reaction suck in there, kind of start melting the plastic and gluing it together. So now we can come along with some primer. I'm just coming in with the Mr. Tool Cleaner because the black primer we're using here is lacquer based, right? So it is going to be different to acrylic, so kind of giving it a lacquer based cleaner gets our airbrush thinking lacquer based paints. So we can just start spraying that on, just on the inside just here, and just for all our silver bits, because black is a good primer for silver. And AK Aluminium 479, I do believe, they're extreme metal paints. You do have to give them a good shake, but they are really good. Now we don't have to be adding thinners to this either. You want to bring your air pressure maybe down to below 15 psi at this point. But after a couple of coats, as you can see, really nice sort of natural metal finish. I also recommend their extreme cleaner as well. It just really works well cleaning your airbrush out for those extreme metal paints. So same process of gurgling it up and cleaning it. Now we're going to put our actual wing section together, which again, the fit of this kit is amazing. It goes together lovely. There's nothing really major to write home about. We can just, I like to just kind of glue, whack a peg down, glue, whack a peg down, and no real issues there. Now I'm just going to show you a bit of filling here. So I'm just going to deliberately make a nice big gap in this model, right? As you can see, big nasty gap, and we'll show you how to get that nice and smooth. And that's using some photopolymer resin. This is the stuff that you use for 3D printing, and we can paint this on nice and easy. Big gaps, so we're really trying to make sure we get a nice bit of fill inside that gap. And then you've got all the time in the world to sort of clean up around the area. You can get yourself a torch off Amazon, eBay. £6 I think I paid for this UV torch, and it activates it, right? 30 seconds and that's gone solid. Because it's a big gap, I'm going to put a second application on top and the UV again. I hope you can sort of appreciate how the UV activation of it going solid kind of reduces shrinkage and any kind of problems like that, and you can put it wherever you want and activate it when you're ready. I do recommend cleaning with IPA with that stuff as well, because it can get a bit sticky and fingerprinty, so bit of cleaning. Sanding, I like to start off with a coarse sanding stick to mainly target the filler. Then I like to come in with the sponge sanding sticks, where we begin to blend that filler in with the plastic of the model and coming down the grits from, like, say, a medium to a fine, and then maybe finish off with something like this is a Tamiya 2000 grit, I do believe, and that should smooth it all nicely off, and that is just absolutely seamless now. Bit of scribing just along here. When it comes to scribing, it's good to sort of move the model, hopefully, as you can see, rather than moving the P cutter by Tamiya. It's more of keeping your hand as a stable platform and the model moves for you. Now bit of riveting work here, but as you can see, little hole just popped up there. That's because I've only just glued it ish, and the plastic's a bit soft, so it went straight through, so I've had to refill that. But back to the riveting, sewing needle in a pin vise, nice and easy. I prefer this because I feel like it's just a bit more precise. If the harder you press, the bigger the rivet you get, the lighter you press, the finer the rivet. You kind of pick your own spacings, and then you're going to want to just kind of give it a really light sanding, just to remove any sort of blemishes from riveting, and that is going to be all good. So really, that is the end of episode 1. There is another 2 episodes. This is episode 1 of 3. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Please go check out my website at genesismodels.co.uk, and please support us over there. Other than that, until next time, my name is Bob Waldron, this is Genesis Models, and I hope you've enjoyed.